Hello, everyone. Today, I will be talking about poverty and how we can not only end it, but push for the conversations that most people sometimes don't like to have. Poverty is something that is so hard to talk about, right? Like you see somebody on the side of the street, you don't want to help that, right? You see somebody struggling, you know, maybe not living on the street, but they're struggling because of money or resources or other things of that nature. That's the kind of conversations we need to start having. And not only with just normal people like ourselves, but with governments and donors and people with the money, because at the end of the day, the world revolves around money. And as I'll get into, there are different statistics that just prove that living off a certain amount of money per day or a minimum wage, it's not going to cover it. Some have to work two jobs. And nowadays, that's so hard with COVID and the health of individuals. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into it here. One of the things that I've always admired about helping people is that it revolves around nonprofits. And when nonprofits and companies that look to end poverty work together to eradicate it by sharing their economic resources or opportunities for people both domestically and globally, it's something that must be prioritized. As I will show here, this is what you see. This is what the world sees. This is what the world does not want to continue to see. And as an individual like myself, I thrive on this, and I want to help people. I've always wanted to help people, and to have this kind of conversation with such a small class, but an important class. It is what we talk about, and it is what is important to us. So a little stat to throw at you. Currently, people that live in poverty only make $1.25 per day. Now I want you to think about, what do you do every day? What do you pay for? What do you go out and do with friends or family that requires money? One, I'm pretty sure every one of you drive. So when you drive, that's burning gas, as we all know currently with gas prices. But you got to pay for that at some point, correct? Well, imagine if you drove for 4 days and you needed to get a tank of gas. You'd barely have enough. $1.25 per day. That's what people living in poverty nationwide, not just in the United States, are currently living off today. That's one of the main issues I'm going to tie into, along with the number of people in poverty. That's the big point of this conversation, is the number of people living in poverty is just too high. 689 million people currently live in poverty. Top that off with $1.25 per day. All right, so let's stick back to the $1.25 per day. What could increase that? Right, that's a good conversation to start having. Well, let's end poverty. Okay, so how do we do it? Right. Okay, we started off the conversation that we want to end poverty. How do we do it? Well, it starts with the whole idea of economic resources tied within the government. So when a government wants something, that's powerful. I just did a conversation with one of my MBA classes about the central bank in Mexico. Well, there's poverty in Mexico. the central bank is controlled by the government of Mexico. And let's say the government doesn't want to help. There's no money. Can't be circulated. Nonprofits can't donate because they can't provide any donors, because when donors don't have money, they're not willing to give it out. So that's a start. You got to work with the government. We got to create a plan within our government system that ties $1.25 per day and allowing that to increase to $1.90, $2. Some places that live in poverty, it is almost $2, $2.10. Some places in the world. Let's tie that together, right? Let's pull everything together and create a solution in that sense. Tying back into that, we got to have the satisfaction of knowing we did something right? So let's start with the groups that in poverty. Let's continue those conversations. Let's have meetings throughout the world, right? Not just the UN conference, the SDG goals that we talked about all semester. They have those conversations. But I don't know about you. If you weren't really familiar with this stuff, you didn't know anything about these SDG goals or these conferences or these laws or these formulas that they put together to end poverty in the year 2030. If we all see that and we promote that, we use our marketing tools to say, hey, I know this is uncomfortable, but can we have this conversation, right? And that's something that we can all do. It's not just a government thing or a donor thing. That's a worldwide thing. Because when people start to imagine what it would be like for them, then at the end of the day, they want to help as well. Visualizing your problem, finding a solution. Visualizing, how can we end this? How amazing would it be if we could get that number down by a certain year, target year like 2030? And then how do we do it, right? With the government, with the donors, with these programs that are in place right now, and the marketing tools that we have to push for that. So as we've talked about throughout this speech, tying in economic resources and domestic help throughout the world, using our powers as people that have power, not only helps them, but it helps us, right? Be that change. Be the change that we all want to help with. Go, you may not have a lot of money, right? Go help. Go push. Go do something that you know is going to help change the world. Be that change in just our small circle of the world today. Thank you.